This is a special moment for me personally, as it represents the culmination of 21 years of campaigning for an open skies policy. We started in the early 1980s when we brought genuine competition to British Airways in the domestic market with our first scheduled service to Glasgow. Later on in the 80s, we launched successful services in Europe, and during the last decade, we have built up a comprehensive network across the continent, now flying to 30 destinations. Our success in Europe has meant that we have been able to position British Midland as the airline for Europe in recent years. But this is now to change. We are soon to launch our new transatlantic services to Washington and Chicago, and we have just become a member of the Star Alliance, the largest airline group in the world. So we face our biggest challenge yet. We are entering the fiercely competitive global airline market, and so our brand and our service must also be world-class, which is why, at this time, we have chosen to create a new brand identity and new market positioning, one that will simplify and signify arrival onto the world stage. I know that we can meet this challenge as we have those in the past because of the quality of our people. However, it is vitally important that all of you understand how the new brand will change. Not just the way that we look, but the way we operate on a daily basis and the way we meet the expectations of our global customers. It is a major step to change our identity, especially one as well known in the industry as ours. But I am really positive about the new look, and I believe it is the right one to carry us forward into the new century. I hope you do too.
Now, brand consultants Landor have been responsible for reshaping some famous names such as FedEx, Pepsi, BP and Ford, and they've been given the task of getting the British Midland rebranding programme off the ground. I spoke to Executive Creative Director Peter Knapp. Aren't brands generally just the figments of overactive minds at London agencies? I mean, do they really make a difference?
I think undoubtedly they do. Brands now are considered important business assets to companies. They are the means by which the customer makes choices, and they are the means with which the company creates preference. So if you have two telephone companies, which one would you choose? All things being equal, if the tariffs are the same and the service is the same, you'll actually choose it on the basis of the brand.
How do you think the rebranding will make British Midland stand out from the competition? Because obviously that's one of the most important things.
I think it will stand out because there is, in our minds, nothing like this in the marketplace today. I have no doubt that this is, I think, the greatest piece of work that this company have done to date. I'm immensely proud of it because I think it's a very accurate description of British Midland, its people, its culture, its business. Not only do I think it's a beautiful piece of work, but I think that it's going to be commercially a very successful piece of work as well.
To get the British Midland perspective, I spoke to Chief Operating Officer James Hogan, but first to Marketing and Sales Director John Morgan. John, I think we can safely say that the British Midland brand, as it is today, is hugely successful. So why change it?
I think it's part of growing up. I think you reach a point where you have to move on to the next stage of your development, of your life cycle almost. And I think British Midland is a fantastic brand. British Midland's got lots of very strong points, but it just needed to move on to the next stage of its development.
How did you choose the new name?
Well, first of all, it's not really a new name, it's an extension of an existing name, and we've made sure we've kept the British Midland element of it because that had very strong connotations anyway. It fits. It's not trying to be too quirky, it's not trying to be too clever about things, but it's there and it fits the new image again. It fits the nice, simple, straightforward, but charming, stylish as well. And so it was just when it happened, we all sort of went, yeah, that's the one.
What do you think would have happened if you didn't rebrand?
I think we'd have gone along quite nicely, we'd have expanded, we'd have grown, but we would still have maintained the the slightly middle of the road, slightly boring, to be honest, view that some people have of us. Whereas now we're going to really wow people. People are going to be shocked and say, God, British Midland have done this.
Changing the brand is all about taking that step forward. It, I believe, gives us enormous confidence. It sends a huge a message to the market, to the customer, and to you, our people, that we're in good shape to take that next step to compete in a global market with a strong transatlantic and pan-European operation supported by our domestic business. Speed came through from the customer research that it was very important to them that when they came into our environment, when they entered an airport, that the process was as smooth, as efficient, as speedy as it could possibly be. And style comes into that also. It's the Britishness. Style is our people, is all of you. We have a fantastic track record. Our history has been built on our people. The charm element really came through because that is a strength that we have. What comes through very strongly is charm in delivery of service, in attitude. How do we build on this new look, and how do we truly ensure that our customer is surprised and delighted with that change, where the real change is going to come through the people? The energy, the commitment that our employees demonstrate today in 35 minutes between London and Leeds, or Teesside, or to Manchester, the willingness to adapt, to ensure that for the customer we go to that extra yard. I believe on the transatlantic services is going to be a world beater. Initially we're going to see a number of aircraft. In 2001 we're going to see signage at selected sites. We're going to see our letterhead, our collateral, our advertising material. Then as we go into 2002 we'll address the uniform and other major issues. But this is a transition, an evolution, but it's part of change. Live BMI from today. That's key. If we're going to make it work, it's not going to be John Morgan or myself or the marketing group, it's you. You have to live this brand. The enthusiasm comes from you. So what I ask you to do is embrace it, because I believe for all of us, this new look, the style, the new airline is going to be a winner.
The launch of the new transatlantic service, the membership of Star Alliance and the new brand identity and marketing position will signify the arrival of British Midland on the world stage. For a sneak preview of what it's all going to look like, let's fly through to the new British Midland.
BMI British Midland.